TJ the Wheel Joe coming at you live. It is Monday, November the 11th, 10:30 a.m. Central Time, Texas time. I appreciate the 60 people that have already clicked the link on X. I believe our boy Amit is still live on YouTube right now, so I don't expect a lot of people to come over to this channel right away. So we're going to scale into it. We're going to scale into it today. But got a lot of shit to do, got a lot of shit to do, guys. So anyway, the title is, Are Your Cover Calls Underwater? Tune in. Let's navigate the deep waters. I'm going to show you guys cover call management 201 today. This is something that I've been doing offline, practicing with it, going on about 3 years. I'm finally comfortable. I'm to the level to where I'm like, you know what? Let me just show you guys all of it, because I don't know how much longer I'm going to have this YouTube channel as we keep making more and more and more money. The wife and I, we have big goals. We have big dreams. We have big aspirations to go, live in a fucking beach somewhere, right? So it's just, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to do this. So I want to make sure that I leave no stones unturned for you guys. So this is going to be all about cover call management at different levels, like looking at, rolling and all that stuff. That's cool. Buying calls, as protection, that needed to be done on the front end. But there's a wrinkle to that. So we're going to talk about it. So I don't have any quotes. I don't have anything set up of the sort, because honestly, I was going to make an excuse to just like not go live because I don't feel like it. But I feel compelled to teach you guys something today because I have the WhatsApp group. And on the WhatsApp group, there's a lot of people that are dealing with these are the members of the channel. They're all dealing with cover calls that are a little bit underwater. So I wanted to go ahead and talk to you guys, just letting the little people, get some more people in here. So 260 people have clicked the link on X, 58 people rocking with me live. So we're going to get into it. Let me pull up the portfolio here. And we're just going to go straight into portfolio update time. So we'll call it at we'll just call it a 3-minute mark here for the little tags or whatever. So we're just going to jump into portfolio update. And once we do that, I'll go into a teaching segment and show you guys different things that you can do to manage your way out of sticky situations on covered calls. But before we get into that, let me see what's going on with the chat. What is going on, Zavan? What's going on, Mr. G? What is going on, Capital Income Network? What is going on, Bob? Recommend to learn options trading. Watch some YouTube videos. This is a pretty good source, this channel. There's if you want to learn how to sell options, the channels that come to mind are like Invest with Henry. There's In the Money, this dude named Adam does a real good job. Brad Finn does a real good job of explaining selling options. There's your 3 that you can start with right there. My buddy Dallas Matthew has a real good channel. Garcia's got a real good channel. Exploring Your Options, I think is what Dallas calls his channel now. And then Garcia Capital. Those are all really transparent channels. So if you want to learn how to trade options, sell options, you might want to learn from somebody that actually shows you all of it, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the indifferent. That way you can really get a good idea, a good sense of the marketplace. What's going on, Vic? What's going on, Larmo? What's going on, Steven? Between you and anybody else on YouTube, I choose the wheel deal every day. Appreciate you guys. Slim Futures, what's going on, Hector? Right? We're definitely going to run some rescue missions today. But anyway, Derek, what's going on? Useless Facts, good conversation the other day. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Archer, freaking Archer didn't make the cut. Wasn't going to be a big enough position for the portfolio. So Couldn't do anything with that one right now. It could potentially grow into something, but it's going to be in the swing trade. It's going to be in the swing trade status right now. Morning, SoFi calls are underwater. I've been rolling all morning. This market is crazy. It really is. It really is. So, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on one particular stock that is underwater from a covered call perspective. And I'm going to show y'all different things that you can do. And it is none other than Palantir. Give me a thumbs up if you're underwater on some covered calls on our beloved Palantir. This is a stock that I'm extremely bullish on. This is a stock that has also run up to levels that I cannot even explain. I cannot even fathom. I didn't think that we were going to be here this early. I honestly feel like we're 2 years, if not 3 years ahead of schedule. So that is a positive problem. So you need to understand your net position delta first and foremost. And then I'm going to show you guys how I am going to play this position. But I'm going to put this banner out here. This is not financial advice. My name is TJ. I'm just a dude on YouTube. I don't know what I'm talking about. Don't listen to me, all that stuff, because I know that what I'm looking to do with this position is going to work for me, but I also know my genetic makeup. I also know my temperament. I don't know you. I don't know you from Adam. I don't know if push comes to shove. What do you do? They back you up in the corner. Do you fight? Do you cower? What do you do? I don't know. So it's because I don't know all of those things about you. I got to throw this banner on there during this conversation because I don't want you guys to follow me in to what I'm about to teach you guys because it might not make sense to you. Fair enough. So all those disclaimers are out there. We're good to go. I'm going to change the brand up here and we're going to call this teaching segment, or better yet, we're going to call it Fix My Trade. Let's call it Fix My Trade because this trade's kind of gone no bueno. And I'll show you exactly what it is that I'm talking about in a second. I'm hoping more people are tuning in because this is a segment that you can learn a lot on if you're willing to be open-minded, guys. Your mind is like a parachute. If it isn't open, it's just not going to work. It's just not going to work. So the first thing that I want to teach you guys is the net position delta. So you see here how the average cost is here at 17, up a cool million. It all looks good, but you got to look at how much are you up today? 81,000. And then on your covered calls, you're down what? 78,000. So there's a net positive of only 3,000 on 24,000 shares, up 5% today. $3. So why is that? It's because the money that you're making on the shares is getting offset by the deep hole that you're in on covered calls. So essentially, even if Palantir goes up like $20 or $30 today, I'll only have a net positive here of like 10, maybe 15, 20 grand, because any money that we're making over here is money that we're losing over here. So how do you stop the bleeding? So that's all of that I'm trying to like help it to make sense. So now we're going to get into the nitty gritty. What I'm about to show you guys only applies if you are legit bullish on the stock, but you think that it's overrun, that it's run up so much that it just doesn't make any sense to you. There's something else that you would like to move this capital to, but you still want to maintain your long exposure to the stock. But at the same time, you kind of want to lock in a win. So in other words, you're like talking out of both ends of your mouth and you're a little bit confused. Give me a thumbs up if that's you. I'm trying to go through all of the emotions whenever a stock has gone up so much and you're like excited on one end, but you're pissed off on the other end because you're like, shit, I don't really qualify for all this capital appreciation. Why did I do this to myself? Oh my God, the cover cost, all the bullshit. If that's you, give me a thumbs up because I want to know who I'm talking to here because I'm going to do y'all a fucking solid right here. So here's the thing. I don't want to lose my shares at all. Got it. So this isn't probably going to apply to you. If you are willing to be open-minded and understand that there are certain instruments in the stock market that work just like owning shares so that you maintain the upward exposure. If you only care at the end of the day about making dollars, and if it makes sense to you, that's who I'm speaking to here today. But if you're going to be very, very rigid and be like, no matter what, I got to own these shares and all that, I'm not talking to you today. So just keep that in mind. I appreciate all 113 rocking with me today. We've got 839, 840. So this was a mastermind that I did with 4 other hedge fund managers offline, private webinar. We're never going to let it go public, but I have their blessing to teach it to you guys here today. I've already told the folks in the WhatsApp group. So let's get into it. So this is one option that you have. You're like, dude, this thing's going to keep running. I don't understand why or what, all that shit. What you can look to do, because you're like, you know what, I kind of want to like lock in a win because I don't want to ride this shit all the way down. This is what you can look to do. You can look to buy back all of these covered calls and immediately sell all of those shares, and you're going to lock in a pretty big win. The difference is going to be this money versus that money, right? Essentially. It's going to be a huge win. If I were to do this, I'd be locking in about $1 million win on Palantir because I made all of this money along the way in this particular position. But before you would do that, what you would want to do though, because you're still bullish on the stock, but you think, this is what I'm talking to, is people that are logical. You're bullish on the stock. You think that it can run. You don't really think there's a reason for it to run anymore, but you want to participate in the upside. What you have to be willing to do at some point is you got to be able to buy long calls. You got to be able to buy long calls. So this is what I'm considering doing. I'm like, dude, if this thing wants to go retarded mode, I'm interested in buying some long calls right in this $70 range. And I'm willing to buy in the neighborhood of 50 of them to start. Why don't you want to go super heavy? Because you're of the mindset that this shit is more likely to go down than up. So I don't want to like, what I feel like I'm overpaying for these long calls right now, because I think that it's going to go down and I'm going to be bag holding over here. So I would do something in the 1965 range and be like, there's 98 grand. I now want to participate if Palantir goes up. So you tie up the 98 grand and then you go and so you have that. So just call it 100 grand. And now you maintain exposure on 5,000 shares that you control. And if they go up, fantastic. Now you have the ability to sell covered calls against these virtual shares, against your long calls. So now you can bring that money through the door as well for the next couple of years, so that you can take some of the sting of ponying up your money for the long calls. But you're like, okay, cool. How do I finance that? I don't have 100 grand. I don't have 5 grand. I don't have 10 grand, depending on what your situation is. Well, you can finance it with your position by closing out those covered calls, immediately selling the 5,000 shares. Because if you look at that right there, it's going to be 246,000. And if you look at selling 5,000 shares of Palantir, we go to the trusty rusty calculator. So it's 61 times 5,000. You can see that that's 305. And it's not a coincidence that if those covered calls were to get called away, those shares were to get called away, it's not a coincidence, guys, that $12 times 5,000 shares is about 60 grand. So this is just like essentially doing a payday loan and being like, hey, I need access to the money right now. I know that it's inevitable. At some point, I'm going to have these shares called away. Well, why don't I just access the money right now? Take the freaking shares because we know it's going to happen anyway because I'm not going to defend those shares. And I'm going to use that money right now and I'm going to go long via the long calls. And then now I'm able to sell cover calls against those long calls. So I can be bringing in money that I'm already not qualified for. Give me 2 thumbs up if it's starting to making a little bit of sense. Give me 2 thumbs up if you're picking up what I'm throwing down for you. I'm going to get $60,000, but I have to wait until somebody calls these shares away. But now I'm no longer qualified for any upside because you guys are already seeing it, making all the money on the shares, getting my ass kicked on the covered calls. You can stop the fucking bleeding if you rip off the Band-Aid and say, hey, fuck it, here's the shares. I'm going to take that money because this shit's going to go, it's a runaway train. And I'm going to take that money and I'm going to go long via the long calls. And now I don't have to cheer against the stock anymore. I could have chosen to do this at any time. Instead, what I did was I'm going to let it ride. One day we're going to teach this to everybody. And then I had already bought all of the shares anyway. And yes, there's going to be a little bit of a taxable implication. You made money on the shares, but you lose the money on the covered calls. So you're pretty much right where you were going to be anyway. But you have access to the money today. If you're long, now let me give you the gimme and the gotcha. The gimme is you can get in trouble again selling more cover calls against your leads. We already know that can happen. That's the gotcha. But here's the gimme. If Palantir crashes down to 40 because you think that that's where fair value is, and I'm in that camp, by the way. Let me talk to y'all. Make no fucking mistake about it. I'm in that camp. I think Palantir should be trading at about $40 a share, not 1 penny more than that. I want to create a situation where I am liquid. I'm going to go long via calls so that I maintain the euphoria exposure. But I want all of that cash in the sidelines so that I can buy back in that $40 range the entire position. And now we're set back at normal because I think that reset has to happen. But if I'm wrong, because I've been wrong this whole time on this Palantir movement, well, who gives a shit? Because I'm going to be making money on long calls that I otherwise was not qualified to make anyway because the position is capped out. Because essentially my net delta is canceling out, right? Because you have 100 delta exposure when you own shares, but all the covered calls are like 90, 92, 93, whatever the case may be. And then he's like, oh, Palantir is not a $40 stock. Maybe that's right. And if it goes to 100, fantastic. Guess who's going to be making money? The guy who just bought all the fucking long calls. So those are things that you could do, is you can figure out how to liquidate a position while maintaining exposure. That way, if it keeps going up, you are able to participate, because right now in that Palantir position, I'm no longer able to participate. You guys are seeing it. 77,000 over here, getting ass kicked, 75, 76,000. Let's see it again for the slow people in the back of the class that were late to school this morning, right? So you see here that the position made 67 over here. but losing about the same amount of money on the covered calls, because this is like a weight. It's like an anchor that's pulling you down because of the deltas. If you look at the delta over here, it's probably 99 delta. You see that? It's a 1 delta already. No bueno, right? No bueno. So it cancels anything that those 5,000 shares are making you. Let's look at the 45 call. The 45 call is an 80 delta. So there's still a net positive of 20 cents there. So for every dollar that these however many contracts these are, these 4,000 shares go up, I'm still qualified for 20 cents, losing 80 over here, but gaining the dollar over there. You got to understand net position delta. And then now let's go to the 35s. So then the 35s are probably in the 90 delta in my, I haven't looked at it. We'll see. Yeah, it's at 89. So getting a dollar over there, losing 89 cents. So there's a net difference there of about 11 cents. So for every dollar to the good, I'm only participating to the tune of about 11 cents on that dollar. So to change your delta, to get into a situation where pound share goes up, you're excited. Whereas right now, when I look at the position, I'm like, shit, man, it kind of sucks a little bit because it got caught with my hand in the cookie jar. This is one way to really, really fix it. Another thing that you can do is you can just keep rolling. You can just keep rolling and keep rolling and keep rolling. You know, these are for January of 2026. We already know this move. You're like, fuck it. I want to qualify for more appreciation. I'm going to go January 2027 because I'm in the camp and Palantir is not a $40 stock and all that shit, right? I get it. I'm kind of in that camp too. I'm talking to the people where you're in a situation where you're torn. You're like, man, well, I want to be able to, instead of going selling at 45, you know, I want to sell it like 50. I want to sell at 55 even. I don't care if I'm making more premium. I want to be qualified for more capital appreciation. So I can do something like this right here and not make much money, no cash flow. Doesn't matter. I want to qualify for $10 more of capital appreciation on 4,000 shares. That's 40 grand. Not bad. It's like a CD though. Got to wait 2 years. You know what I mean? So that's another option as well. That's an easy option as well. And then you can do the same thing with the $35 one. You can look at that situation and be like, shit, man, that's the bulk of the position. That's 15,000 shares. Got to make good on 31 bucks. So I'm like, okay, what can I do if I just want to roll this thing? I want to roll this thing. We already know that you can play that game. You can go way over there if you want to. Got to make good on the 31 over here. And you're like, well, shit, you know, like I can go like right over here. This is if you want to roll for a debit. I'm like, well, I'm gonna go for 35 to 40, and that's huge, right? On 15,000 shares. Now you're qualified for another $75,000 in capital appreciation, and you make another 12.5. Takes the sting out. You know, it takes the sting out. You get into a little bit more of a delta friendly situation because the delta on this 40 is going to be a little bit lower. It's 84. So now you're qualified for a little bit more. For every dollar you're making 100 delta over there. Here's 84 delta. So now your net positive is 16 versus 11 because the other one's a 89 delta. So those are all the things that you can do. But you're going to have some conflict that you got to deal with. Why are you going to have conflict? Because you feel like you're selling out and all of those things. That's why I've said on this channel 150 times that your favorite ticker needs to be your personal portfolio. So anyway, I'm going to put an invite out here. If anybody wants to talk about it more, because maybe you guys will have some questions and I'll help you guys out. And in the meantime, I'm going to see if I can go find some more questions here. Where are we at? Okay, so we're good here. I took profits on Palantir. This move is just crazy. I'll re-enter when it cools down. You see, so that is kind of my situation too. But I want to maintain the exposure. If Palantir keeps going crazy, Well, the leaps are printing, and then I'm managing cover calls way over here in the 65, $70 range to bring some money through the door that I was essentially leaving on the table. Other things that you could do with capital, like I have access to here, is I could just obviously keep selling cash and curve puts as well, bring some of those monies through the door. But I'm talking about if you want to stop the bleeding because all the money you're making over here you're losing over here. So there's no net gain. If you want to position yourself to have more of a net gain, then this is the game of math you have to be willing to play. This isn't just 1 + 1 = 2. This is going to be a little bit more advanced than that. So we have and oh my gosh. Anirudhu, man, I'm not even going to try. How are you?
It's Anirudh, TJ. I'm pretty good. How are you?
Good. 1 second.
Yep.
Hey, Bill, I'm live on YouTube, brother. Let me call you back. Bye bye. We know Bill White's not watching the channel. Okay. How do you pronounce your name, brother?
It's Anirudh.
Anirudh.
Yep.
I
You
did
got it right.
okay, eh? Now that
Yeah,
last
yeah.
name looks
No,
tough.
you got it perfect. It's
Yarlagada.
Anirudh. Yep.
Yarlagada.
Yeah.
Yarlagada.
Yep. You got it right.
Very cool. Okay, talk to me, my man. What kind of questions you have? First of all, tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been investing? How long have you been following our little channel? And what can I help you with today?
Hey, TJ, I've been following you for probably 2 years now.
Oh
I
wow,
was first following Amit, and eventually, I'm one of the Palantir investors. So then, you started showing some option selling strategies and making premiums with Amit. Then I thought, like, okay, this makes sense. If I have a property as good as Palantir, then probably I could make some rent out of it, and that's how I started my account. I got Palantir below $8. I think it's quite a size for me at that point of time, but it's not enough size at this point. So right now, the main reason why I wanted to have a hop on a quick call with you is, well, you know how Palantir always sandbags on their earnings, right?
facts.
So
This stock is so hard because they're so good at they know how to play the game, right? Like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
they know how
yeah.
to give Wall Street what they want, bro. Like
Yeah, so this time
beautiful.
also it was like I was thinking, okay, maybe they might not make it to 30%, but maybe they'll do 28% and the market is gonna sell it to the send it to the graveyard. But now I actually sold 2027 $65 calls of out of all my position. So it's actually I think close to like 50 calls. So I collected, I think at that point it was 40K premium, 45K premium, but now those are getting close to underwater. So I can roll them to 80, but since it's being almost a 10 bagger for me, so what do you think? Like, do I let it expire? Do I let them execute it?
What is your strike price?
$65,
And Palantir is at what level right now?
61.
So and again, this is just like what's here's Mr. Premium, right? This guy's got a wealth of knowledge in the stock market also. Uh this isn't a one size fits all answer, right? This is a tailor made suit for your situation. But this is just a hard, fast rule of thumb that I go by.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never going to roll a cover call that is out of the money.
Mm-hmm.
So let me say that again for the people in the back of the class. I am never going to roll a cover call that's out of the money. Why? Because I'm still technically winning that trade.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that you're fighting right now is your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, what if? I deal with what has happened, not what can happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I am not going to deal with a cover call that a it hasn't even reached my strike price, yet alone my break even. That's really when I like to deal with them. It's when
Mm-hmm.
I'm officially leaving money on the table.
Yep, that
And
is correct.
I should have dealt with this like $12 cover call specifically because the 35 and the 45 are still very manageable.
Yeah.
They're still very manageable because I'm long that stock. But
Mm-hmm.
I already planned this in my head whenever I started buying a bunch of shares. And I'm like, well, you know what? At some point, I'm just going to buy 50 leaps on Palantir.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to use the 60 grand that they're going to give me, and I'm going to go buy $60,000 worth of leaps. And if
Mm-hmm.
that starts working out for me, because now that 60,000 is making me money that over here I couldn't make anymore, I wasn't qualified for,
Yeah.
then I'm going to consider doing it with the rest of the position. So I'm not going to just like blow up the entire Palantir position right now because I'm long Palantir.
Yep.
All I'm talking about is there a different way? Is there a more capital efficient way, a more strategic way to maintain my long exposure
Mm-hmm.
while I'm quote unquote hoping for a pullback? Because imagine if I go underwater on the leaps because Palantir crashes. I'm not going to be that angry, bro, because I only tied up a little bit of money. And then
And
now
that's the
I have to
money which
buy
I
all of these
collected from the
shares.
premiums.
I don't have to ride these shares down, and I could go buy that position back at like 40, 45 bucks. I would feel pretty damn happy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I could average down on those leaps if I want to.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you're bullish on the company, but you're bearish short
Short
term on
term.
the
Yep.
price action.
Yep.
But if I'm wrong on the price action short term, it doesn't fucking matter because those leaps are going to print.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, okay, cool. You want to go to 100? Fantastic. I'm making money on the 50 leaps that I just bought. I wasn't going to make shit on all of the other shares anyway. I just demonstrated to y'all that all the money that I'm making over here, I'm losing over here, right?
So I have a quick question. In that sense, see, for example, if I collected a 40K premium on a 200K position, and then I bought leaps with that 40K, that will make my exposure maybe 400K exposure. So if the stock is really going down, then my leaps are going to tank, my stock price is going to tank, but only my premium, my sold, which the calls which I sold is going to go up.
Right.
So it's two-way go. Then my portfolio, see, basically the thing is, it's the only thing in my portfolio, and this portfolio is dedicated only for Palantir. I did not want to add anything else into this
Sure.
portfolio, so it's solely based on Palantir. So when it if we buy leaps, so it's two-way down for me and one-way up for me. So I don't think my portfolio is going to withstand that.
Right. So again, this is definitely not financial advice. I'm not going
Hmm.
to tell you what to do because I get in trouble on how many licenses. And even that people that have licenses, they shouldn't tell you what to do
Yeah.
because it's your goals, it's your financial dreams, it's your financial life on the line.
Hmm.
But what I would look at doing is exactly what I'm considering.
Hmm.
It's like, this is again, I'm not telling you what you should do. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. What I'm looking to do is Palantir goes to 40. I'm
Hmm.
going to be kind of angry at myself a little bit because I wrote it all the way down to 40, feeling like it was overvalued the whole time, right? It was
Yeah. Yeah.
expensive the whole time. And I'm like, why didn't I lock in the win, deal with my fucking taxes? It's got to come back down at least 25%. That's why I picked that $40 price because that's going to be
Yeah.
roughly 25% from where it is today. But in
Yep.
the meantime, if this shit still wants to run up, well, let me at least run up 50 leaps.
Hmm.
I'm not qualified for any more run up right now
Yeah.
unless I roll to January 2027 and then now I'm positioned for more run up. And the
Yeah.
cool thing is the run ups already happened because it's like you're locking in that capital appreciation. You're like, okay, cool. The position's already more profitable, but now I just gotta wait. It's like a CD. You gotta wait till
Yeah.
the CD, right?
Yep.
But then you lose a lot of liquidity.
Yeah. I
You're like
lose a lot of
hoping
liquid.
and praying that Palantir holds those levels for a long time. So if something feels really, really overbought to you, and again, I'm not telling you how to feel about Palantir. I'm bullish on Palantir
Hmm.
10 years from now. But I'm kind of bearish unless the next earnings crushes it again. And I know that they just had a bunch of contracts and all that shit. I didn't watch a Mint's channel, but I know how to read articles too.
Hmm. Yep.
All of that, but I also get the valuations matter a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like
No, I'm
it's
saying in
not.
some other conditions, it seems like they don't, right? Because I mean, seriously, I love Elon, I love Tesla, but is it really worth $300 billion more today? I mean, it's just this shit
No
is
way.
crazy, yo. Welcome,
People are just
welcome,
going degen on it.
welcome, Ryan Ripkowski to the stream. How are you?
Hey, doing pretty well, TJ. Nice to finally get on here. I
When
appreciate
I
it.
saw your last name there, it reminded me of Kelly Lapowski from Saved by the Bells. I think that was her last name, the Tiffany Amber Thiessen character. We all had a crush on her. I'm showing my age, but I dated her mentally for like 6 years. I think.
Yeah, it's European. It's there's a lot of skis around. Last end of the last name.
Anyway, how are you guys?
Doing pretty well, man. Doing pretty well. Enjoying the gains in the market.
Absolutely. Did you catch anything that
Yeah,
a near?
I was about 5 minutes behind, so
Let's go yeah, near. That's easier.
Yeah, it's Anirudh. Yep.
I know you are talking about Palantir and kind of being underwater on the covered calls.
Not yet, but about to.
Okay, that's good. Um, kind of what I wanted to ask about. I'm underwater on some Tesla calls. I just kind of wanted to see what your perspective was, what you two's perspective was on it. So I got a 260 call expiring November 29th. I really don't want to roll out to 2027 because
Okay, what hold on, let me what are your strike prices?
I got a 260 call expiring November 29th
Okay.
this year. So like in what, 3 weeks?
Yeah. And Tesla's at 347. So that's no bueno. No bueno.
I got my hand caught in the cookie jar on
Yeah.
it was like for last earnings, it was like I think at 213,
Right.
and then I forgot, someone had told me on Twitter, like, they analyzed Tesla's average move on earnings was like 12%. And I did the math and I was like, this is around 15%. I should be good and I'll be able to roll out of it. And so I did roll. I rolled from like 245 to 260, and then it blew past that too. And so,
Right.
so, yeah, I was kind of looking at like the 280s ish, like next April or something like that.
Yeah.
Really give me much more upside, and I gotta sit in it for another 5 months, only for like $15 more profit. So
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, it's not bad. You're able to do that for credit or no? Because how much do you have to make up here?
yeah,
89. I think it was like 29. What was it?
yeah, I'm able to do it for credit. It's not what I really just don't want to have happen is Tesla go to like 500 or something insane, and I can't. My hands are tied. I can't roll for anything but a debit. So I can definitely roll for a credit right now. It's just going to require at least 4 or 5 months time.
Right. So you got to make good on 89.40, give or take, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Let's just call it $90. And then you're looking at April. Is that what you're saying? So
Yes.
half a year almost.
Yeah.
And then I just go where it's like right in here. So you go to 280 and then you got 92. So there's like a $3 spread there, give or take.
Yeah.
So what are you planning on doing with that $3?
Really, my goal is I'm not too worried about the premium. I really just want the capital appreciation. Because like I said, I was not expecting Tesla to go parabolic like this. So it was really more of a cash grab. Like
So were you not banking on a Trump win? Because I think the writing was on the walls that if Trump won, this was kind of going to happen because Trump and Elon are so chummy.
Yeah, I honestly didn't know who to believe on that, because everyone is like, I follow, you, Amit, Jesse, Chris Patel. I follow like everyone in the finance community, and most of y'all were saying that Trump is going to win. But I also follow a lot of left leaning politics just because I like to get different perspectives, and a lot of them were saying Kamala was going to win. So at this point, I'm just like, man, I don't know who to believe, because it's like at this point, whose argument is better? I don't know. I'm not a political expert, you know.
Right.
So, so yeah, I was just kind of in the camp of, I'm not a political expert. I'm just gonna play out, whatever happens.
Yeah, it's tough, dude. I mean, because it's like you got to ask ourselves: is Tesla worth an extra $200-300 billion?
Yeah.
The answer is probably not, but it is, right? Because Mr. Market is large and in charge at the end of the day. Is Palantir a $60-65 company? According to the market, it is.
Yep.
And the only price that matters is what the market puts on it, right? That's just the reality of it. So I have 280 calls for January of 26
Okay.
on Tesla. I exercised 150 calls last Friday, and I paid $7 to $8 of extrinsic value to own those shares early, because I wanted to eliminate the stress that the leaks were caused, that the poor man covered call campaign was causing me. Right? Because when you sell covered calls against shares, dude, it hurts a little bit different than when you do with the leap. So I was like, well, I know that I can manage these because I'm long Tesla. I'm long Tesla. And this is, again, we're having a very delicate conversation, because I don't want to sell any shares of Palantir. But at the same time, I don't want Palantir to go to 100 and not have any upside exposure. And because there's other thing that I could do. I could just do nothing on the calls, and I could just buy leaps.
Yep.
But I'm not willing to do that, because I feel like in any type of correction, they're going to go beat up a stock that has run up quite a bit. It's an easy place to do it. But if Palantir keeps coming correct with the numbers, etc., and like you're on Tesla, Ryan, if Tesla keeps coming back, coming correct, with like trying to do the cybercab, the Model 2, having real sexy situations for like leases and stuff that encourages people to buy more cars. The energy thing keeps doing good. The robot comes to fruition down the road. I mean, we can all argue that Tesla is severely undervalued, right? But we don't know if all of those things are going to happen. B, we certainly don't know when those things are going to happen. And that's why investing is so hard. And we all have to just admit that it's an easier game if you just buy and hold the dollar cost average into the market. Type in easier if y'all believe that that's true, because I know that is true. But I entered into this business going on 5 years now that said, hey, I want to use money to generate cash flow while I'm participating in some capital appreciation along the way, because I want to look at this shit all the time anyway. I want this to be what my life consists of for the most part when I'm not hanging out with the family. But I need to figure out a way to turn it into my day job. So that's how I landed on selling puts and calls. But if you're in a different situation, you got money coming in, you don't constantly have to have covered calls out there. You don't constantly have to have cash secured puts out there. You don't have to constantly be putting yourself, quote unquote, in harm's way. So you got to look at my situation and look at your situation and be honest with yourself. I have to be in this situation because this is the arena that I wanted to play in. Because I'd rather do this than going and working 12 and a half hours a day in the oil field. This is a no-brainer for me. Are you fucking kidding? We're talking about math here. It's like the Allen Iverson. We're talking about practice. Like we're talking about math. Like, I mean, how fucking hard is it? I'm gonna buy the clothes. I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna buy leaves. I'm gonna sit and do nothing. I mean, are you fucking serious right now? But again, I conquered this right here. I've conquered my mental game for the stock market because I'm like, okay, cool. The only reason we're having this conversation is because on Friday, it became evident to me that I don't want to position myself to ride Palantir back down to 30 and not turn that into a massive win. I was like, what if I would be willing to do something a little bit unconventional against the grain? Let me maintain some exposure because right now I only said that I'm willing to buy 50, right? But I'm actually willing to scale into 200 leaps. So I got all of the long-term exposure. What I haven't settled in is the price. Like, I'm not sure if I want to do half at like 60 or 70 and just like fucking swing for the fences with it, or I want to be more responsible and buy the other half at like 30, 35, because that makes more sense to me, right? Having that 80 to 90 delta exposure. And it's just easier to make money over there. So I haven't figured out the whole puzzle yet. I'm working on it, but I got the corners. You know, have you ever built a puzzle as a kid? You start with the corners, makes it easier.
Yeah.
Makes it easier. And no, I would only scale if the price goes down on the leaps. I'm hoping that it will go down. Like, I'm literally buying these leaps, hoping, because if I would buy leaps, liquidate by the leaps, I'm sitting in all this cash. I'm hoping to get my ass kicked on a real small amount of money, relatively speaking, so I can go buy $1.5 million worth of Palantir and fucking 40. Do the math. Do the fucking math. I would love to own, maybe now I can have 30,000 shares for the next big run instead of just 24. So again, a lot of y'all are playing checkers. I'm trying to figure out how to play chess here. And this is just a move. This isn't my move. A mentor is like, hey, dude, we've been doing this shit for years. Like, you're not the first one that came in here. You're going to sell put, sell calls, collect premium. They say I got a real catchy slogan. They call me the slogan guy when I meet with the guys that handle real big money. And they're like, hey, let me tell you what we do. When shit's run up real crazy and you think that the euphoria can keep going, you think it still has legs, but you're no longer participating because you mismanaged your cover call campaign. So let's just call it what it is. I mismanaged the cover call campaign, and now I'm not qualified for any upside. This is a way to get you qualified for the upside, but be in a real nice situation if there is the downside that you thought was going to happen 6 months ago that never did. Because now you're sitting on a bunch of fucking cash. So the question now is, what do you do with that cash? Is there anything that you can go sell cash secure puts on temporarily to bring some money through the door? Because this position ain't doing shit for you. Ouch. This position ain't doing shit for you no more. You got a bunch of dead money there because you mismanaged your cover call campaign. This is the lecture that I get offline, right? Because I've already had these guys help me with this position. So we came up with this whole strategy together. Like whenever they coach me, because I pay real big money for this mentorship program, I don't just like, yeah, my problems, right? This is different than when I do the little FaceTime calls with y'all and everybody's just like crying to me about their situation. I have to come to them with a solution that I came up with, and then they're gonna like coach me along the way with tax implications and all this other stuff. So it's one of those, like, the situation that we came up with is, how do you have your cake and eat it too? So the only thing that we came up with collectively was, well, I could buy some leaps, and if it keeps on running, fantastic. I'm now qualified to make more money with Palantir, because right now I'm capped out on the money that I can make. Can we all agree on that?
Yep.
So I'm just solving a game of math. I ain't be like, oh my God, it's not going to let me on this channel if I don't have 24,000 shares. Fuck, I'm playing a game of math here. And I'm like, can I buy leaps so that if this thing goes to 100, they get another crazy ass contract, whatever the case may be. TJ not participating in that. I want to participate in that. But at the same time, if I get into cash, another $1.5 million in cash, and this thing were to somehow go to like 30 or 40, because I mean, if I remember correctly, it was there like a month ago. So you're telling me that it can't go back there? I don't believe you. Just, you know what I'm saying? I don't believe you. I don't think Palantir is drastically different today than it was a month ago. So I would like to position myself and be like, oh, you're trying to time the market. Well, no fucking shit. Anytime that we put a strike price and an expiration date, what the fuck do you think you're doing? We're playing price wars with the market. Are you kidding me right now? Like, what channel are you on? We sell puts and calls for a living. There's an expiration date. There's a strike price. Fucking, we're timing the market, and that on that trade, you're timing the market. You're trying to time the market. That's why you're looking at the parameters, you're looking at your RSI, your Bollinger Bands, all that shit, because we're trying to figure out good entry points and exit points. So we're selling around long-term investments, or at least I am, but I'm trying to time the market on all those cash secured puts and all those covered calls. But that's something that I've made peace with. I think a lot of people, when they start in their journey with selling options, they never make peace with that. Because they hear all this shit, oh, you time in the market and time in the market, all the bullshit, right? We've all heard the bullshit before. But dude, whenever you sell a cash secured put and you put money on the line to buy it at this particular juncture, at this price, you're kind of trying to time the market there a little bit. Yes or no?
Yep.
The same shit with the covered call. And you already know that that's a hard game, right? So just think about it this way. When covered calls feels hard, selling them, and cash secured put feels hard when you're selling them, it's 3 times harder when you're buying them. Because shit has to happen within a certain time frame, right? It has to. Here, you can be wrong directionally and still be okay sometimes. So if you think that this game's hard, it's a lot harder, especially when you're buying short-dated calls.
Yep.
So Tesla, I mean, obviously you have your long-term thesis. I do too. I think it's going to be the most valuable company in the history of the stock market. When that happens, you'd actually have a time frame on it between 2030 and 2035. So I want to participate in all of that. So I have to position myself accordingly. And when I mismanage a covered call, I have to be willing to be honest with myself and say, hey, you kind of screwed the pooch here a little bit. You screwed the pooch here a little bit. So how do you remedy it? Are you just going to let it play out, collect the theta, and hope that you get bailed out? But here's the reality. I feel like Palantir is a runaway train with no end in sight. Everything that I feel about their valuation aside, dude, there's something in sports called the mojo, the momentum, right?
Yep.
And I think we can all agree that the momentum, the mojo is with the stock right now. The mojo is with Tesla right now. It's really awesome that you guys chose to click, because these are probably 2 of the biggest mojos aside from Bitcoin right now, right?
Yep.
Mojo's with them, bro. Everything's clicking. Have you ever seen that football team that's on, or that basketball team that can't miss 3-pointers? I mean, it's just, the momentum is in their favor right now. Their trend is their friend. The market sentiment is really, really awesome on both of these companies right now. And the numbers, not too shabby on Palantir right now. Getting better on Tesla. So the fundamentals back some of the euphoria, not all of it, but the market's a forward-looking instrument. So I am just here willing to be honest with you guys and say, hey, I feel like I mismanaged the Palantir position because I was adamant that I don't want any squatters. But that has come back to bite me in the ass in a very big way. But I'm not just going to sit there and cry and have a fucking pity party. There's no money over there. I'm going to play a game of math and figure out, what can I do to position myself in a position that's already made $1 million? What can I do to go grab another million? Because I feel like it's there to be had. And sitting idle and doing nothing, I don't think is the best course of action right now. And I'm not willing to just buy more shares either. Because that's an option, right? Just buy calls, that's an option. Buy more shares, that's an option. There's money there. But I'm unwilling to do that When in life, to do something, you have to be willing and able at the same time. Think about anything you've ever done or not done in life. You had to be willing and you had to be able. So I am able to buy leaves, and that's it. I am able to buy calls or to buy shares, and that's it. But I'm not willing to do that. But I'm honest about it. So I'm in a real good place mentally. A lot of people can't be honest with themselves. You're certainly not going to come on here and be honest with me if you can't be honest with yourself. But I'm willing to be honest with myself. And
Yep.
I am not willing to just buy more shares on Palantir. I stopped being willing at about 35 to 40. That was the last 500 shares that I bought on Palantir. And I'm like, okay, dude, this shit just doesn't make any sense anymore. So I can't get there. I can't get there. So I was like, well, I'll go build the right position or whatever. So I moved along. But I'm not talking about, oh, let me just show Palantir and lock in the win and be done. I'll see you at 40 and then the shit never comes down. I still want to participate in a pretty big way. So I'm like, well, why don't I scale into some leaps on the off chance, because I've been wrong this whole time on price action, but on the off chance that I am right, I could be looking really, really, really smart in 6 to 12 months. And if I'm wrong on the price action, well, I'll just be a little bit richer because the leaps that I bought will print a lot more than the fucking money that I'm losing over here on the cover calls, dragging down my shares, right?
Yep, that makes total sense.
It's a game of math, dude. It's not a game of emotions, and that's the thing. But I think that sometimes we get lost in the sauce a little bit with like this sense of like loyalty and feeling disloyal and all of that other stuff. And at the end of the day, if there's one thing, because I feel like this channel is coming to an end at some point. I could see it in my wife's eye when I talk to her, because she thinks I'm a little like overly political at times, so she doesn't like dig that too much. Because I've said things like, if you're born with a D, you're a dude. If not, you're confused. Like I've said those things, right? So I have to own those things at home. And mama don't like that shit. She's all about inclusion and what's the DEI shit. My wife's all about that stuff. I'm not really. So it's one of those things. So you have to know that if like the end is near, and I feel like I may not have this platform, longer than maybe another year or so. I want to make sure that I give you guys everything that I had in my head and in my heart. And then you guys can do with that information whatever you want to do. If it works for you, use it. If it doesn't work for you, bro, throw it in the fucking trash. You ain't gonna hurt my feelings.
You plan on still going on a Mitch show after if and when it ends?
Yeah, I'll have 50 to 200 leaps. I'm not bearish on Palantir at all. All I'm trying to do is I spend a lot of time trying to figure out how to make money off these tickers.
Yep.
Y'all need to spend a little more time doing that too. Like everybody just wants to be in tickers for the sake of being in these tickers. But if you're selling options and stuff, you're trying to maximize the win. All I'm trying to do here is maximize the win. Can we all agree that I want pretty big on Palantir here?
Oh, yeah.
I want to win more. I want to win more. That's it. I want to win more. I think there's more to be had, but I think that I could play the position a little bit differently is all. Dude, we wouldn't even be having this conversation if I would have set up Palantir the way that I set up SoFi. But oh, wait, let me back up a little bit. Palantir and Meta taught me how to set up SoFi. Y'all heard me crying about a fucking SoFi cover call? No. Why? Because I set it up. I set it up appropriately, but you got to get better, right? Your game's got to get better. Shit, like why do they practice on the off season in the NFL, the Major League Baseball, hockey, basketball, whatever? Why do they practice in the off season so that the next season they can get better? We don't really have an off season in the stock market, so you got to figure out how to sneak in your practices and get better along the way. That backstop trade, dude. You know how many times I practiced my backstop trades on paper, Ryan?
A lot.
Before I was willing to like go out there and people will make fun of me. I can't believe this freaking idiot put that much money on Clean Spark and Riot and all this. I mean, SoFi. I think I had like almost $2 million in cash secure puts on SoFi at one time.
Yeah, man, I got a lot in Clean Spark, man. Thursday afternoon after it got halted, I was so
Stress you out a little bit.
yeah.
How's it doing today though?
Oh, it got unhalted like an hour and a half, 2 hours ago, something like that. It's up like 16, 17%, something like that. It's at 28. But man, people on Twitter were telling me someone said they're giving bad revenue numbers or they're faking their revenue, and then people were saying getting bought out and it's going 30, and I'm like, man, I'm either gonna wake up tomorrow being up 80 grand or being down 80 grand or something like that.
Yeah, I've got. Well, I think I might have just locked in another win on Clean Spark, as a matter of fact. Let me see.
Are you taking large profits on it, or are you kind of like slowly scaling?
Fuck no, I'm out of there.
You're out of
Yeah, I'm gonna show it right here.
I know Riot's your
So
main.
just gave back 32,000 to free up 750 grand on Clean Spark.
Okay.
750 puts locked in about a $62,000 win right there, and you'll see those. So it's those 1,000 contracts, right? You see that?
Mm-hmm.
So you'll see 200 contracts got 12, 100 contracts got 6, 200 contracts got 12. So that's already 28 grand. So we're almost there, but there's more contracts. Got another 12.7, got another 28, another 19. So we can all agree that this amount of money is more than that amount of money, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Made money. And then we back up a little bit. You'll see that on December 21st, collected 45, collected 52, 52, 60, 60, 60, 60, 30. And then I gave back 75, 60, 75, and 15. So we can see that this amount of money is a lot less than that amount of money. So this ticker has made, I'll check it in a second because I got to add these right here. So I gave back 32. So now we're going to go look at the tracker here because this just filled. So I'm going to go Clean Spark here. I'm going to I freed up all that capital. So 11.11 gave back 32 cents. 11.11 gave back 32 cents. I'm trying to get back into a lot of cash because there's some stuff that I'm looking to buy, specifically Amazon. I'm trying to add 4,500 shares.
Are you wanting to sell puts on Amazon or just buy the shares outright?
No, you're just buying them outright, dude. Just buying them outright.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think it's going to 300, dude, and I'm willing to place a real big bet on it. And it's just kind of like a sleep well at night. I'm borrowing that acronym from this dude, Mr. Premium with the option. He says it all the time. So there it is, all closed. And now I go over here to the summary, and we pull up Clean Spark. Here it is right there. So officially have made $261,600 on Clean Spark, and I've never owned one share. I'm okay with it. There's a lot of people that'll make a lot more money with it, and good for you. Riot's my horse in the mining space, the Bitcoin mining space. That's the one that I wanted to rock with, and I positioned myself to rock with it, right? But now, my goodness, look at this thing right here. Look at the buying power. And I'm officially should be out of margin as far as, you see margin is currently available. So the open options collateral does not exceed the individual cash anymore. And that's the position that I wanted to be in. So now we just got Boeing, cash secure puts at 150. We got 900 grand over here, 1,000 puts at 4 and at 5 with Neo. So that's definitely the riskiest play in the portfolio. And then the only other cash secure put that I have, Ryan, is this one right here, TSLL. at 573 for January of 2026.
Okay, that's a leverage play on Tesla, is it?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I started doing when, just to get on your situation with Tesla. I saw the writing on the walls when Tesla was, 1 second, let me answer this one. I thought I was trying to limit my share exposure. Yeah. So I feel like Amazon is glorified savings account.
Yeah.
So I took shares from BITX. I took the share money from TSLL, CrowdStrike, Nvidia, Archer, Joby, and I'm putting all of that money into Amazon because I feel like, I know that in the next couple of years Amazon will be at 300, and that's going to be a steadier climb, and I can manage those cover calls $5 at a time, $5 at a time, $5 at a time, and it's Amazon. So I just feel like it just brings a different level of credibility to the portfolio, and I'm sleeping like this because it's Amazon.
Yeah.
And if it goes down to like 100, fucking awesome. Liquidate a bunch of other shit. Let's go over here with Amazon, and it's Amazon. Because I don't see anything disrupting Amazon. Dude, I mean, they get sued by the government, they still deal with it. I'm saying, dude, when a company can take on the government to a certain degree, pretty solid.
Oh
How
yeah.
many times has Google, I know I talk shit about Google because I don't really like Google, but do you know how many times has Google had to talk to the government? And they're still here. Meta, same thing. They're still here. You know, so those are pretty good indicators of how solid the underlying is. And yeah, so I just want to make some changes in the portfolio, and that is where I landed. Is there any interest in selling cash clear puts on Celsius? Yes, a lot of interest actually. So we'll see. So anyway, any other questions, Ryan? I don't want to talk too much, but I just want to make sure that I can help you. What other situations are you dealing with?
Yeah, that was really the only covered call I'm underwater on. I've been selling SoFi cash secured puts covered calls like all year. I've never got caught with my hand in the cookie jar once, thankfully.
Wow, good for you, man. Good for you.
Thanks, man. But kind of what, like, leading into that, one of the reasons I and caught in the cookie jar on SoFi is because I sell like very low delta. Like, I'm totally fine selling, like, you know, right now it's like at what, 13s, low 14, something like that. Anyway, I sold $20 covered call for like 2 cents, and I think my SoFi position is worth like 50 grand right now. So
Nice.
yeah, it's like, I guess the question, how are you so comfortable selling such aggressive covered calls? Because if I did that, like, I feel so horrible if I sold a $15 SoFi covered call and it blows past it and ends the week at like 1650 or 17, and then all of a sudden I'm forced to roll 2 months out.
Good question. So this is what helps me with SoFi. Is, again, it just has to do with how the position was set up, right?
Yeah.
So we look at the SoFi position. This is by far and away the best position that I've ever set up in my career. So we got an average cost of 725. So that part's not bad. Up a lot on the shares, right?
Mhm.
But there's 6 open strategies. I got the cover calls at 15. So those are causing a little bit of pressure, but they're all the way to March. So those are going to cause a lot of pressure down the road. And then the $15 cover calls for January of 2026, those are also going to cause a lot of pressure. Can we agree on that?
Oh yeah.
But this is what takes off the pressure. Have the 200 leaps at 5, the 500 leaps at 10, 200 leaps at 7, and another 500 leaps at 15. So just about all those covered calls, that's 2,000 covered calls, are against 150,000 shares, right? But then there's also the upside of the 2 for the 1,400 leaps. So I can afford to be very aggressive on these covered calls because I'm kind of in a situation to where what I've talked about doing on Palantir, I could easily execute it on SoFi. The difference is I don't have to buy any more leaps. I could just be like, take the freaking shares. I'm going to lock in a win on a portion of the portfolio, and I'm still long and strong via all these leaps. And I'll exercise those down the road. We'll look up a year later, and I'll still be at 140, 150,000 shares in the account.
Okay, and on that, I know like that's kind of been one of your strategies. If you just buy, well, have a specific percentage of a premium that you get, at least, because kind of the way it goes in my head is like, well, if you're calls and immediately just using the premium to buy long call, well, it's kind of like, what's the point? Why did you calls in the first place and just let the share ride? Because if you just spend calls and if they expire worthless, then what was the whole point of it all?
Right. So you got to keep in mind, like, again, this position was set up properly. I bought these leads when SoFi was in the toilet.
Okay, so you didn't like immediately use the premium to buy.
No.
Wow.
No, I mean, let's roll the tape. I bought these leaps at $10 on 3/8, March the 8th,
Mm-hmm.
and paid 144 for them.
Okay.
Right now they're worth almost $6. So like selling cover calls right now to buy leaps when the stock's so hot doesn't make a whole lot of sense, right? It doesn't make a whole lot of dollars and cents.
Yeah, man.
The Palantir situation is different because I'm no longer qualified for any more alpha. And the name of this game is seeking alpha.
Oh, yeah.
So all I'm doing is seeking my alpha, guys. All I'm doing is seeking my alpha. And everybody's like touting Uncle Bruce. I like Uncle Bruce's channel, but he doesn't have transparency like I do. Like, shut the fuck up with that already. What I'm saying is, anytime that I show y'all a position and I dig, it's because I know that the name of this game is seeking alpha. I'm just worried that where can I go get the rest of this alpha, because I got caught my hand in the cookie jar in a real big way. That's it. So in order to right a wrong, you first have to admit that you were wrong, right? And there's a lot of people that have a real hard time with that. But I'm of the mindset of like, I'd rather be rich than right, because rich is right. Like, that's the game that I'm playing, dude. I don't have an ego. I get this shit wrong all the time. How do you know I own shares? How do you know if you're a premium seller, a theta collector? How do you know that you get shit wrong because you own shares? You would never own shares if you were perfect on cash secured puts. Why would you? You just go cash grab for a living, call it good. But you also know that there's value to owning some shares. You're like, man, well, I could write some of those shares up. And then maybe there's two ways that I can make money now. I got the cover call premium here and there, and then I got the capital appreciation. There's two ways. The cash secure puts, there's only one way. But it's like some people are so enamored with being right. Some people are so enamored with being the smartest person in the chat. Why don't you be the richest person in the fucking room? It's a lot more fun. I'm just, dude, these smart Alex, dude, they're not, that's not the way to do it. I spent like 40 years trying to be the smartest guy in the room. It's a lot more fun trying to figure out how to be the richest. Or get in a room where there's like really, really smart, wealthy people. Dude, that's where you can really grow in life. Like you want to like expand your circles. You know what I mean? So I hope y'all can really appreciate the level of transparency that I have brought, not just to this channel, but to YouTube in general. Like, how transparent was this space before? before little TJ the Wheel Deals channel came around. I mean, just dude, I created a channel that I was seeking when I first started, you know, on this career path. I was looking for my channel and I didn't find it, so I was like, well, I guess I'll just create the damn thing because I wanted to have something that people could use as like a as like a I don't like you know like a daily class, if you will. Like we all sit here, y'all watch me trade the portfolio, and then you're like, well, this is my situation. How can you help me? You know, kind of like everybody's like taking like an open book test, if you will. So that's kind of like a classroom setting type thing. I don't know if it's ever going to really catch on before my wife says, hey, it's time to go live life or whatever. You know, I have aspirations that I actually want to learn how to golf a little bit, believe it or not. You know what I mean? We live on this golf course. I'm like, dude, maybe we should get out there here and there. You know what I mean?
It's fun, man. I recently do it. I mean, so popular.
TJ Megadiddles, can you expand your concept on executing rescue missions? So, to me, a rescue mission is more so whenever you're underwater on shares. I got the concept from this guy named Marcus, the German guy from Austin. Can't pronounce his last name, but it starts with an H. But I do a little bit different than he does, but essentially my 25-25-50 strategy is kind of like my version of what he would call a rescue mission. And it's just like scaling into a position when it starts going against you, as long as the conviction is high. Like this game doesn't work if the conviction isn't high, Ryan. I hope you know that.
Oh yeah, no, that's one thing I have my main position like but I'm okay with that because the stuff I'm concentrating. So I Tesla, like I all of that stuff like every day, and I with it, and I do like very specific of things I'm interested in, but it's like unless they're small, I'm not very convicted in it, and I'm not going to hold it for a long time. So,
Right.
so I was like, it's fine if it's small and I'm not convicted in it because I can just, you know, but I've definitely had over the years.
Yeah, I wrote in my journal when I did the purge. I called it the purge on Friday. When I sold all of the, and it's not even that they were low conviction, dude. Like, dude, Nvidia is pretty high conviction for everyone, right? I mean, mostly everyone.
Yeah.
CrowdStrike, pretty high conviction. I just wasn't able to build the position. Like it wasn't at it never was at levels. CrowdStrike gave me that opportunity whenever things were going south, but I didn't know enough to be able to pull the trigger in a big way because I was going to scale it up to like 1,500 shares. I think I got it up to like 300 at the most. So I was like, okay, cool. Give me the opportunity. Nvidia gave me the opportunity when it went to 100 recently. Wasn't able to pull the trigger. So whenever the opportunities presented itself and I don't pull the trigger for whatever reasons I didn't pull the trigger, I don't second guess myself now because now we have the answers to the test.
Yeah, CrowdStrike, a difficult one. What they had the cybersecurity hack and it tanked, and
With Delta and all that stuff or whatever it was.
people I follow that were buying, but other people were saying we just, you know, there's no way to tell how low this is going to go.
Yeah.
But that's the reason if you bought it, you deserve the gains.
Yeah. So let's talk about another tax harvest loss that I took on Friday, and that was Enphase. Enphase, I took a tax harvest loss on Friday. I'd already showed this on Finance Junkies. That's why I didn't lead out with any of this stuff. So tune into Finance Junkies. So in July, the best move I made all year was in July when I sold out of Enphase. So before I did that, though, I bought $221,000 worth of shares. Y'all see that? I guess we lost Ryan. So hopefully you guys see that. So I'm demonstrating something to you guys here because what I'm talking about doing with Palantir, I already did this with Enphase. The difference is in Palantir making money, over here wasn't making money. So these shares were under like 139, so I took a big loss there. And then I bought these leaps right here for 221, sold a bunch of covered calls along the way, only to turn around and close out that position for 47. So that's another material loss right there. And then I bought the closed cash secured puts because I was looking for a tax harvest loss on Friday. So now I am completely out of end phase. It's day one, and I'm hoping end phase goes to $50 within these 30 days. Because I can't get in it right now. If not, I lose the tax advantage, the tax break or whatever. So I want to get back into this play, but now I'm kind of hoping it goes to like $50. And then I will look to buy 5,000 shares of Enphase at $50. Because if you study the metrics on Enphase, it's still not a real cheap stock.
Yeah. And who do you, what are some good guys that you follow to really learn more and kind of gain some conviction on Enphase? Because like, I've been interested when it's falling through the floor, and I know the whole basic theory of when interest rates fall, that's good for the solar companies. But it's like, I don't know much more past that other than it's a falling knife right now, and interest rates getting cut should be good for it.
Right. So the earnings call was not very exciting, but it's because the company's very, as a matter of fact, like they don't blow a bunch of smoke up your butt. They're just like, hey, this is the way that it is, and we're gonna have rough sailing for probably another quarter or two. The company knows how to make money, dude, and the company has like a legit situation with like the microinverters and whatnot. So all of that part is real good, and they have a global footprint. It's not just like the United States or whatever. So there's a lot of good things going on with Enphase. This administration probably not going to be very favorable for Enphase. You can't get Donald Trump to even concede to the notion of climate, global warming, and all that stuff, right? So you got to know who's in charge, and he's not like officially in charge yet, but he will be soon. So there's that headwind. They do have some potential tailwinds with the interest rates and all of that stuff. And there's a big part of the world that likes to go green and all that stuff. And I think all that's fine and dandy. So I think that they have a way to make money. They have a way to continue to make money and all that stuff. But that being said, I like it a lot more at these prices than I did at 130 something. But luckily, I was able to make a lot of premiums, like selling puts and calls and collect premium. So I was able to minimize the damage. But make no mistake about it, I still want to manufacture the win on Enphase. It is not an ego thing. It is just, I think there's alpha to be had there. And I totally see a world where Enphase goes back to like 150. And I want to be part of that ride. But if it goes up to like $80 during these 30 days that I'm on like timeout, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then, well, sucks for me. And you know what? Sometimes you get it wrong. And I could revisit selling cash secured puts on Enphase if it goes to like 80. So I was like, okay, well, maybe I'm not going to participate with shares, because if it's in the 60s, I'm just going to buy 5,000 shares. Because those are the 5,000 that I wanted all along, never 11,000. I got caught. No, like I ride those up from 60 to 150, sell some cover calls along the way. It'll be awesome. And then it did me a solid this year, because make no mistake about it, we could use a major tax break right now with all the gains in the portfolio. So I'm, kind of okay with it, but it stings because I've done a lot of homework on it, listened to like 6 earnings calls now. And, so it's one of those things, right? Like I want to see the investment through, but the numbers said, hey, right now you might be able to get away with it, because tax harvesting is so hard, dude, because you got to be out of the stock completely for 30 days. And I would go like 31 or 32 just to be like really sure, because I did this like right before the bell. So I feel like that one doesn't count. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, and that's where I feel like Robinhood could do us a solid, Ryan, and be like, hey, if you do this, that's a wash sell.
Yeah, I wish
They won't tell you.
Man, it's I really wish these brokerages like would better wash sales, explain stuff like that. 'Cause I work in finance. I used to work at Fidelity. I can't tell you how many people called would ask questions about like, hey, what is this wash sale thing? Why is my cost basis different than what I bought it at? And whole conversation we had to have. But yeah, are there any? Was wondering, are there any games besides Enphase you were looking at for the new year? Because um, my hands are kind of tied right now because of if I might sell anything more in the back half of the year, I'm going to be bust up to the next tax bracket. So I'm
Right.
holding everything for right now. So I was just wondering if there's anything else besides Enphase 2025.
There's a couple of stocks that I've got my eye on. Celsius. Celsius is one in the low to mid 20s.
I think it's like I think it today it was like 27 last time I checked it, something like that.
Yeah, so that's one but then it's like RFK's in charge now of the some food health something. I don't know, dude. All these stupid terms that I call them made up jobs. So these get my buddy a job position, right?
Yeah, it seems like people.
Yeah. So Enphase is at 27. I'm really interested in that $25 level.
Mhm.
And then I think they have like a weird pricing, like 23.33 or something crazy. And this might have been because of a split or something. I'm not real sure. But those are levels that are pretty interesting. But if you still look at the price to earnings, it's 40. Sales are slowing down and be like, oh, well, it's because Pepsi overshot. Well, the reason that they ordered more is because they thought they were going to sell more. That's the reality. But they are growing into other markets. I want to say they're probably like in 5 or 6 countries now. So that part is pretty good. They still have a pretty good balance sheet. So that was interesting. That was interesting. Another one, right on. I drank one yesterday.
They're pretty tasty. Maybe with me, but like an avid weightlifter. To me, Celsius is more for just like sitting at my desk getting work done.
Yeah.
I go to if I want to go work out or lift weights.
Yeah. I don't know what they think your mic's cutting out a little bit. I can kind of hear it, but I'm not real sure.
Okay, just a
I don't
second.
know. It might be your Bluetooth.
Yeah.
So Boeing's another one, guys, that I'm looking. Are you there?
Yeah, is that any better?
Yeah, much better. Okay,
Okay,
awesome.
great.
So Boeing's another one that I'm looking at. I've been warned by a lot of people on this one. I have an acquisition price target of 140 on Boeing, going ham in like the 125 level. So that's one that I'm eyeballing. Here's another one that I'm eyeballing. I know that there's issues with it. I don't like the underlying and all that stuff, but this is just to make money. Seeking alpha, right? So I'm always seeking alpha. That is the game that I play. I'm seeking alpha. And I feel like at these levels, I think I know how to make money on Pfizer. Premiums aren't that sexy or anything of the sort, but I like situations where I'm like, I feel like the floor is here and the upside might be like over here. Not like way over here, but I see alpha there. I'm always looking for alpha. I'm extremely familiar with the company. I know that they got like a lot of patents on drugs that are expiring. I'm not sure about their pipeline. There's a lot of shit that I don't know, but I don't need the answers to all that to know whether or not I think I can make money here. So this is one at these levels that I feel like I can make money. And I think the floor is like about 22 or 23. So if I can successfully do 3 or 4 or 5 rounds of really big cash secured puts, then I can create a little bit of a margin safety there by having a lower adjusted cost basis from the beginning before taking ownership of any shares. And this is also one where might just be comfortable cash grabbing, not even wanting to take ownership of the shares, just taking whatever little premiums will sprinkle in from the market. Another one that I've been eyeballing for a while is one that I'm already in, and that's Intel. We had an earnings report recently, and it was a little bit better than I expected. So I'm like, hey, is there a situation here to where maybe I could sell 200 cash secured puts in that 2350 range and bring some premiums through the door there. And if I get caught where the position just gets bigger, it lowers down my average. And now I'm able to sell more cover calls more aggressively and bring in more premiums through the door that way also. So this is another one that I'm eyeballing to potentially go heavier on. Obviously, we talked about Amazon as well. I won't show you all the Neo play. I don't want anybody following me into the Neo play. There's a lot of risk there. And then the other one that I'm still looking at is Hood. Is I'm like, maybe I could sell some cash secure puts in that $30 range because I've got cover calls at 30. I've got cover calls at 29. But I also, instead of letting things get really, really out of hand on this one, Ryan, is I already bought some leaps to take the pressure off of these guys. And I'm like, if I decide to just let all of these get called away, well, I can still do what I talked about doing with Palantir over here. And then this one's kind of already working out. I think I'm already up on these. Yeah, up 32 grand, and I only bought them on 11.1. So that is, it wasn't an ideal situation to buy the leaps. But again, when you think the euphoria is there, you think this shit's going to run for reasons unbeknownst to you. Do you want to figure out why it's happening, or do you want to go seek your alpha? What do you want to do? Like, what do you want to do? Do you want to go grab your alpha or not? So I thought that there was more alpha to be had. So that's how I chose to play that one. So everything that I've talked about doing on Palantir earlier on is stuff that I've already been playing with in other positions that aren't quote unquote as high conviction as Palantir. The reason that I'm being very, very careful with how I navigate Palantir is because I don't want to put myself in a position where I no longer have exposure of any kind. Because, dude, I think this thing's going to 250 billion in market cap. I don't know when. You know what I mean? It might go sideways for the next 3 years for all I know, and then give you that other 100 billion, 120 billion in a 3 to 6 month period. I mean, it's already shown that it's extremely sporadic. Whenever it moves in both directions. So hard to say, bro. Hard to say. The game's not easier. You know, the game's not easy. I think that if it was that easy, a lot of people would do it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Kind of one thing I've learned is like when it rains, it pours. Because like in 2022, like I got started in like 2017 ish around there. Anyway, so for the most part, I had made pretty good money in the markets from 2017 to like 2022. But then 2022 happening, good God, man, that it just like shot all my confidence. It just felt like the entire year just couldn't make a dollar on anything.
Yeah.
And now it's like this past week, it's like just throw a dart and you'll be up 10% in a day. So, you know, when the good times are good, they're really good. And then when the bad times are bad, they're really bad. But you
Good.
always find a way to recover. At least I
Good,
have.
good observation, but I'll tell you what's a lot different about the euphoria right now versus like in 2020 when things were like real crazy. All the meme stocks were up like without any earnings and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I remember that.
Is you if you don't have some pretty decent fundamentals, you're not being rewarded in the market right now.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
go find me a stock that is just crushing it without having like some amazing story and some numbers to back up the story.
Mm-hmm.
Because whenever things are really crazy out of control, it's when story stocks run. They don't need, like, let's say Archer. It's just a good story right now. But Archer had earnings and they had some numbers attached to those earnings. Because it's pre-revenue right now, right? But now they have like some legit orders and all that stuff. So things are progressing nicely for that. I'm very, very bullish on eVTOL. But right now I wanted to clean up the portfolio. I want to see how the taxes look. And then who knows? I might surprise y'all with a $500,000 position on Archer or Joby. Most likely Archer, because I think Archer's ahead. But things aren't running without having like a legit reason. I mean, dude, like I know, yeah, Palantir's overextended, overvalued, overpriced, it's expensive, whatever terminology you want to use. But I mean, can we not agree that Palantir is a much better, fundamentally, it's a much better company today than say a year ago?
Yeah, that's why it kind of feels a little bit different, is because, of course, Palantir is probably expensive or overvalued or whatever you want to call it, but at least they're like a real business that's growing and has good fundamentals, unlike like GameStop or Bed Bath and Beyond, or all that other crap that was
Yeah.
pumping in 2020.
I own shares of Rocket Labs, and I'm trying to make a certain amount on them. I'm not saying any cover calls on them. It's just a trade. It hasn't graduated for investment to me, uh, but it's going fun. I think I own them in the $4 range, something like that. And we'll see. I've thought about selling the shares a few times, but then I'll catch an episode of Matt Money or Vince's bullish, and then I'm all back on the rocket train, the Rocket Lab train. But nothing in this portfolio. Thoughts on Uber? I think they're going to be fine, dude. They know how to get people from A to B. I think if anything, their software or whatever, their database, I'm sure Tesla will figure out how to do something there. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I did. That's one thing. I just haven't even explored any of that stuff. These nuclear stocks.
Yeah, I've never understood nuclear stuff
Appreciate
either.
that, Brett. Could be. I think Apple's so big, dude. Like it's so big, it's hard for them to move the needle. But they've been surprising us for years, right? So, I mean, I'm looking at Apple's screen over here. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 iPhones on the desk, a Mac. I mean, yeah, dude, Apple gets you, bro. Apple gets you. So anyway, guys, I hope you all enjoyed the conversation. I appreciate all the love. My goodness, 1,739 folks that have seen this, at least seen that we were live on X, and then the 161 people rocking with me here. So let's just recap, Ryan. I'm super bullish on Palantir. I'm super bearish on how I played Palantir. So I'm trying to remedy that. But I'm
Yeah.
willing to just buy more shares and call it good. I feel like if I got to remedy this a different way, I got to get creative. Like when I didn't have good credit and I wanted to buy something, there was this called creative financing.
Mhm.
So I'm looking for a creative way to navigate out of this situation with Palantir, because no matter how much more it runs, I'm tapped out. And then just rolling all the way to 2027 doesn't really feel like the move here.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I want to avoid with my Tesla 260 calls. I don't want to. I'm trying to make.
So have you thought
Yeah.
about TSLL? Maybe some of your alpha is over there, because a lot of the alpha that the reason that I'm chilling on my 280 calls for January 2026 is because I made $500,000 on TSLL when I diverted my attention because of the money, right? It takes less money to make more on TSLL.
Yeah. I tend to stay away from the
Leverage.
from the leverage stuff. Like with me personally, I know a lot of people are different, but I am much more comfortable with concentration risk than time-based risk. So it's like I'm fine having the majority of my money in 3, 4, 5 stocks, but it's like, because if I at the end of the day, it doesn't affect me if SoFi were to drop 5% a day, because like I study the company enough to
Yeah.
know this is nothing. But it's like if you're in options or a leverage fund of Tesla or SoFi or whatever, and it tanks, it's like all of a sudden one of your positions is down 20% in a day. And if it has another bad day, all of a sudden you're down 30, 40%. And so it's like I've considered it, and I do have some small positions in like options and leverage plays and stuff like that. But for just me personally, and I know a lot of people are different, I'm just more comfortable with concentration risk as opposed to time-based risk on options or like that theta decay on the leverage funds.
I hear you. I just got a notification from Calendly. Let me check. I may be late to a FaceTime right now.
Oh, that's fine. I can hop off if you need to get with someone else, CJ.
Yeah, no. I'm saying I have to get. Yeah, I'm late to a FaceTime call right now. I got to end the stream, guys. Sorry about that. This is
All right.
TJ the Wheel Joe signing off. I appreciate you, Ryan, and the other gentleman that joined earlier. As always, may your sky stay blue, stock screen. Peace out. God bless you guys.